Good day or good evening, whatever space time it is at the time you're watching this video. Hey y'all, welcome back to another reading here on Spirit and Sarai. I wish I could play music that runs through my mind as I set up to record these videos, but I know the copyrights will get ya over here on YouTube. But the song that's been running through my mind since before I hit record, I'm just going to get a few of these out here so we can get started, is Wicked Games by Chris Isaac. It's a very haunting sounding song. I actually love it. But it talks about not wanting to fall in love. Not wanting to fall in love. It says, I don't want to fall in love with you. What a wicked game you play. So that song might be significant to you in some way. I don't know. Got to be playing in my Menti for a reason as I started up today. These are the Initiate Oracles. These are relatively new to me still, but I love them. Let's go ahead and see what Spirit's bringing to the table. We've got teachings. We've got banishing. Interesting. And we've got beginnings. All right. Teaching, banishings, and beginnings. Spirit is telling me to kind of relate these cards in a way to that song. So I'm just going to go with it here, especially because banishing is out here on the table. I feel like someone out there in the collective, whoever this reading is for, is really waking up to some things. Is really like learning some new things. And they're discovering that there is either a certain individual or individuals that need to be cut out, need to be cast aside, so to speak. Could be people or a person who is playing wicked games with you. Thoth and the Emerald Tablet might be very significant to you. You might have went down that rabbit hole. You might have spent some time learning about his teachings. But in any regard, I feel like you have come into some higher knowledge. Can't forget to mention also, we've got Ma'at represented here in this card as well. Your commitments have changed. Things that you were committed to before have fallen away with this higher knowledge that you have come into. And so a morphing of what you're committed to currently has occurred. And this has led you up to the process of rooting out the evil that might have been surrounding you during a time when you didn't know as much. You kept yourself open to receiving wisdom through many different teachings, many different books. I see you within a library. Maybe you took the deep dive into Akashics, but nonetheless, you kept yourself open to this higher knowledge. And this said knowledge is now taking you to new heights. You're reaching a higher point in the ladder. And when this occurs, things like sometimes people in our lives must be left behind in order for them to go on their own journey or to choose not to. But you've come into the realization that this choice is theirs to make. And you are making a choice to go to higher levels, to communicate with people of a higher vibration, of a higher wisdom, and to kind of separate yourself from anything that might be lower It's a requirement of the lower vibrations to vibe higher, so to speak, in order to meet you at your level. And if that choice is not made, they in themselves kind of banish themselves. It's not necessarily something that you are doing on purpose. It's more of a choice that they are making. You choose your own destiny and they choose their own destiny. Everybody's heart being weighed against the feather, so to speak, according to the ancient Egyptian mythologies, and the fact that Ma'at is also represented on this teachings card as well. I love that there is a factor of balance here as well. It's kind of like you're letting go of this feeling of needing to bring them along with you. It's finally kind of like owning up to the fact that you are reaching higher levels and that things and people must be left behind because they're weighing you down. And there is a need to not feel remorse for this, because in the end, everybody has a decision to make on behalf of themselves. And so there's like a letting go of responsibility in that regard. And after these things are quote unquote banished, there's a spiritual cleansing process that's taking place. A purification. And a balancing out. Once the lines are cut, this spiritual cleansing process is extremely necessary in order to remove any residual negative energies that may have been left behind from the removal of these types of people that were in your life. And this can be done in many, many ways. There's many different ways of purification, of, reaching this. But really what it all boils down to is how you walk in your daily life. Not any one ritual or thing that you may do to cleanse is going to sustain the purity that you are reaching. It's something that has to be done on a daily basis in your daily walk is what I'm getting at here. And I really feel like you have been doing this, which is why the beginnings card is placed here. It's leading you to renewal and a higher level beginning. This purification process is bringing in clarity for you and vitality. It's giving you more energy in order to be ready to step into the new. But with any new beginning, just like the snake, when it first leaves the egg, it's tender and fragile. And so it's a subtle reminder that at this point in your journey, after all this stripping away, after all this purification that has been done and is still being done, because it's an endless process, to keep in mind the fragile nature of which a new beginning holds. You're reaching a point, you're reaching a new phase, and because you have left some people in the dust, this new phase is brimming with potential and with promise. The happiness that you are feeling is outweighing the sorrow of having to walk away from certain individuals The fact that there's stars in the imagery of this card as well, it's signifying to me that you're being guided by unseen forces in this journey that you have embarked on. So all in all, at this new beginning point for you, take the time to nurture what is unfolding, to treat it with a certain amount of gentle, loving care. It's also going to require a lot of patience, because this kind of transformation does not happen at just a drop of a hat. It takes time. Just like a seed pushing up through the soil, the growth beneath the ground is beginning, but it hadn't yet surfaced to the top of the soil. And at this stage, it is very fragile and precious and needs to be held with reverence and with protection. The fact that the egg is present here in this card, embrace the gestational period of this transformation that you are undergoing currently, all the while allowing yourself the room to grow as well. Pretty interesting and potent start to this message here. I'm going to go ahead and grab a couple of these pretty little diamond cards and see if there's anything else that needs to be added to your story here. I want to take this time to thank everybody for allowing the space for this message to come through as well. For this beautiful person in the collective, we have the King, Gnosis, no surprise there, the Shapeshifter, and the Sustainer. The sun god Ra might be significant to you. I can't help it when this King card comes out with this sunburst behind the hand. That's what it reminds me of. But through this gnosis, right? The gnosis that you have reached, because knowledge turns into wisdom, which is then gnosis. It's a knowing. Knowledge turns into knowing. I'm hearing that through this process, some of these people have referred to you as a shapeshifter because of the massive amounts of transformation that you have completed over quite a short period of time, is what I'm hearing. You have this uncanny ability also to blend in with your surroundings at any given moment. And it's not necessarily like taking on the energy, but it's more of like a mimicking of the energy. And it's not necessarily done because you want to be accepted by the people that are around you. It's more of a need to blend in as to be some kind of protective layer to all of this. At this point in the game for you, your life is like this depiction here. I don't know if you can see that. The lighting is terrible today. I apologize. You see he's got a ball of clay there in his hands. And it's being molded and melded and shaped. You have the potential to shape it in any way you want to at this point. I love the fact that I'm getting that download along with the shapeshifter, because this isn't necessarily something that you solely do on a resonance of blending in with your surroundings, but it's also a taking on the clay, proverbially speaking, and morphing it and shifting it into a way that you see fit at any given moment of your life. All the while using the knowledge as sort of like a compass grid. It's like an internal map system. And it's like it's letting you know which turn to take after which turn you just took, so to speak. I also love the fact that the moon in this depiction is full. And we've got 2 waxing moons here on these cards in the background. And that leads me up to this whole new beginnings as well. It's referring me to the actual moon when it is a new moon and it begins to slowly grow into a full moon again. And that speaks for a lot of things that this beautiful soul in the collective is looking at currently. It signifies the growth of the gnosis within yourself. It also signifies the beginning point and the growth that is to come from it. It also relates back to Thoth or Jehudi in the fact that he is considered to be the god of the moon. The fact that in Tarot, the moon represents things that are hidden. And that all ties it back to a full circle moment of hidden knowledge, hidden wisdom, hidden texts. These might have been things that you have been studying. These might have been things that you dived into. And this was the catapult to get you to the point where you're at right now. A lot of people fear the title of shapeshifter because it comes with a lot of negative connotations. But this kind of transformation, it requires a certain amount of being able to be flexible and to be able to shift the kind of multi-dimensional energy that is needed in order to reach the level that you're at. I'm hearing that this isn't something that you necessarily own up to in your daily life because you don't want to scare the normal person. And while that could be true, I really feel like we are reaching a point in time, or at least I hope we are, where we can begin to be forthcoming in what we truly do on a multi-dimensional level. And here on Spirit and Sarai, we accept all. All is beautiful. All holds a purpose. All can teach. And we can all learn from one another. Setting negative connotations aside, looking at it as a bigger picture, and taking in the hidden knowledge that it brings to the table. So, in the end, here with the sustainer, you are at a point now where you are learning how to sustain this level of energy. You've reached a point in your journey where you have come into complete gnosis and you are learning how to stabilize and ground and sustain this level. And I feel like this is the part here that is in the fragile beginnings. And once this is stabilized and is sustained for a certain amount of time, I feel like the student will end up becoming the teacher. I feel like that might be an ultimate goal of yours. And thank goodness for people like you out there in the collective. I love it. Thank you very much for being here at this time. I truly, truly appreciate your existence here on this planet. I'm feeling the energies lifting. I'm going to leave this message here. I thank each and every one of you for being here on Spirit and Sarai's channel from the bottom of my heart. I love you. Bye.